One of the very key concepts you're going to have to get your head around is truth doesn't work in fiction. I'm going to say it again. Truth doesn't work in fiction because the fictitious world of man, ruled right now by the kingdoms of Satan, work in a lie. Because Satan is the father of the lie, he's also the father of fiction and fiction of law. So when you're trying to get your head around the fact of taking out what is truthful out of what is fictitious, you're doing the right thing, because truth doesn't work for fiction, nor does it work in fiction. So the only time you're involved in the concept of potentially making fiction a fact is when you put your truthful name, your God-given name, which you're not supposed to render to Caesar because it doesn't belong to Caesar. Caesar has to be content with his fiction, and has to be content with the very thing that he's asked for, so that's what he gets. When truth wakes up, truth realizes it leaves or escapes out of that fiction, and it no longer bears the price for that. They need, when I talk about the unbelieving world, the secular world of man's governments, need truth to be deceived into fiction in order to have someone who will host the event to carry the burden of the fiction. And because the two are strangers to each other, we know that Scripture also told you in Proverbs that you would smart for it if you were surety for a stranger. So truth is a stranger to fiction, and fiction in turn is a stranger to truth. The two are not to be confused or merged together. Now, there's no way the system of deception and fraud could work without the inducement for you to believe such. So everything that you've ever registered in that system where your given name is involved, your God-given name is in there, you will always be reaping what you sow in the penalty of trying to claim something that's a lie. It's not real, and therefore you have to take the reality out of it. You're trying to breathe life into a dead body corpus civil title name that belongs only to the state or the material world, the temporal world. When you do that, it is going to fall like a rock as you're supporting it by your misconception. And so take the ego out, because boy, do I get enough ego, crazy communications that come in of people who just say, I can't get my head around this. You've got to be wrong. And so if they want to prove me wrong, but they send me usually misconceptions about Jesus Christ and many other ridiculous internet fallacies that they've adopted into their belief system, which is going to take their life. They're going to lose their life. They have to be 100% for truth and stop in the misconception of embracing fiction. So we're here to break free from this, but you're never going to break free if you keep on clinging on, as Lot's wife was going to hold on to her material possessions, which took her life in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. So when we grasp what is truth, it'll be easy to understand how that legal system operates and how you've only been interfering with it and robbing it by